Update: fired from my job for salary discussion in NC original post. I posted back in February that I was fired from my job for discussing wages. This subreddit told me to file a charge with NLRB. They found merit in my case and I just got a settlement. Please, 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 fighting for fair compensation in North Carolina last February, I shared my story about being let go from a job after bringing up salary concerns. The community here suggested I file a complaint with the NLRB, which I did. After a thorough investigation, the NLRB found my claims to have some validity and I've recently received a settlement. I strongly encourage everyone to take the initiative and pursue a complaint, even if you reside in a state with at-will employment laws. Your rights as an employee deserve to be represented. TLDR: fired for discussing wages in NC, but NLRB found merit and I received a settlement after filing a complaint. I know I shouldn't have played the "my girlfriend seek" card, but come on. The worst part of this is I have so much crap to sell that I haven't posted because I didn't want to deal with all the scammers we have here recently, and this type of crap. So I posted 3 items. I shouldn't have pulled the "my girlfriend seek" card, but come on, it was just a desperate attempt. What really gets under my skin is that I've got a huge pile of stuff to get rid of, but I've been putting it off because of all the scammers around here. The last thing I needed was another headache. So, I finally decided to post a few items that were just taking up space: a gaming chair, an office chair, and a desk. Well, I guess that was a bit of a blessing in disguise because I managed to sell all 3 the very next day for the full asking price of $250. But seriously, what a relief. Doctor's office charged us for vaccines we refused before you downvote. This is not an anti-vax situation. We went in for a yearly physical for my son, and at the end the doctor left the room to check if we needed any vaccines. 5 minutes later the nurse comes in with a needle foam. Charged for vaccines despite prior administration. Before you dismiss this as an anti-vaccination stance, let me clarify our intentions were the opposite. We recently visited our pediatrician for a routine physical checkup for my child. At the end of the examination, the doctor stepped out to review our vaccination records. Approximately 5 minutes later, the nurse returned with a syringe, stating it was time for a vaccine we had explicitly stated we were already up to date on and had previously received. The unused vaccine had to be discarded, but unfortunately, our insurance still received an invoice for the shot. We're left wondering how to rectify this situation. If you adopt a kitten and keep it until it's about a year old and then suddenly decide you can't take care of it anymore, so you give it to a shelter when it's no longer at its insanely more adoptable kitten age, you suck as a human being. Edit: it's better to leave kit. When someone adopts a kitten, only to discard it at the tender age of 1, after realizing they can no longer care for it, that individual is revealing a disturbing lack of responsibility. Abandoning a pet in a shelter after it has lost its prime adoptability window is a callous and selfish decision that speaks poorly of the person making it. This behavior is not only heartbreaking for the pet, but it also raises serious questions about the character of the person involved. Edit: it's preferable to entrust the care of a pet to a shelter than to abandon it in a public place or simply leave it behind when moving out of a house. Please, do not engage in this behavior. My husband got a blowjob from a stripper at his brother's bachelor party. He broke my heart so much. We've been married since 2016 and together since 2013. I'm pregnant. He knew I was pregnant when he cheated. I hired a divorce lawyer today. I never thought I would be here. Ill. The betrayal I suffered at the hands of my husband has left me shattered. His infidelity occurred at his brother's bachelor party, where he allowed himself to be swayed by the company of a stripper. This act has broken my heart into a million pieces. We've shared nearly a decade of love and commitment, marrying in 2016 and spending the previous 3 years together. The thought of our life together now hangs in the balance, as I recently discovered I am expecting a child. The weight of this knowledge is crushing, knowing that my husband was aware of my pregnancy when he chose to engage in such a reckless and hurtful act. I have taken the first step towards a new chapter in my life, hiring a divorce lawyer today. Although the prospect of spousal support weighs heavily on me, I am willing to make this sacrifice in order to distance myself from the pain he has caused me. The realization that our marriage is over is a crushing burden to bear. I wept for 2 long hours after meeting with the lawyer, the weight of my grief threatening to consume me. I never thought I would be facing this moment, and yet here I am, forced to confront the shattered remains of my marriage. My wife, girlfriend, of 10 years had sex with someone else and I saw pictures of it. I just want to die. How the fuck do you cope with this shit? I was just starting to turn my life around. Happy holidays, I guess. And amp. X200B, edit. I don't know how many of you will see it. A decade-long relationship shattered, leaving me reeling. I've stumbled upon irrefutable proof of my partner's infidelity, and my world has been reduced to ashes. How do I navigate this unfathomable pain? I'd only just begun to rebuild my life, striving to overcome my past struggles. Merry holidays, I suppose. And AMP, NBSP, edit. I don't know how many of you will see this, but I appreciate every single one of you. This community has been a source of solace and strength. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Just found out my boyfriend got another girl pregnant, and you know what? I don't care. Sounds like he's gonna be a dad. I'm just happy it ain't me he got pregnant, haha. Good luck to his baby mama though, she's gonna need it. He's upset that I'm happy about it. I just received some surprising news about my boyfriend. He's expecting another child. Honestly, I'm not bothered. It seems he's going to become a father, and I'm just relieved it's not me who's pregnant. I wish the mother of the baby all the best, as she'll undoubtedly require a lot of support. I'm confident she'll need it, considering the circumstances. My boyfriend is clearly upset that I'm not showing more concern, but I've told him congratulations on his new family and asked him to leave my apartment. His feelings aren't a priority right now. To celebrate this new development, I plan to have a fun day at the beach tomorrow, where I'll unwind with a few drinks. I was tired of being ugly, so I got a gym membership, started bodybuilding, got a haircut, learned to trim my beard and started smiling more, and I'm still ugly, lol. You can't change your genetics, but taking pride in your appearance and putting effort into taking care of yo. Exhausted by my physical appearance, I made a conscious decision to transform my physique. I signed up for a gym membership, took up bodybuilding, and gave myself a fresh new haircut. I even mastered the art of grooming my beard and adopted a more radiant smile. And it still didn't make me conventionally attractive. The truth is, we're all bound by our genetic makeup, but taking pride in how we present ourselves can dramatically alter how others perceive our beauty. Through self-care and dedication, I've cultivated a newfound confidence that's palpable to those around me. Peaceful protest was made impossible. My hometown is burning. The Target I shopped at for years was looted, and honestly, I'm shocked it wasn't turned into a structure fire. Trump shrieked like a baby when Cap took the knee. A peaceful protest was shut down, robbed a man of his. Burning chaos. The uprooted peace, the once quaint streets of my childhood home are now scarred by flames. The local shopping center, where I spent countless hours, lies in ruins, its fate a tragic turn of events that might have been averted. The echoes of a tantrum still linger, as I recall the scornful reaction to Colin Kaepernick's courageous stance. A peaceful assembly was brutally suppressed, silencing a man's voice and sabotaging his career. Martin Luther King Jr.'s poignant words continue to resonate. Rioting is the language of the unheard. We are witness to these devastating uprisings. The cycle of violence continues, as officers' actions result in the senseless loss of black lives, and we struggle to find excuses for the inexcusable. I have nobody to talk to in person about my accomplishment, but I'm 1 year clean and sober from heroin, so I'm proud AF and screaming it from the proverbial rooftops of Reddit. Open mouth smile loudly crying, I don't really want my friends or my father to know that I got stuck with such a. Finding someone to share my achievement with in person is proving to be a challenge, but I'm making the most of a virtual celebration. After overcoming a difficult struggle, I'm now a year free from heroin's grip, and I'm feeling an overwhelming sense of pride and accomplishment. It's something I'm eager to shout from the digital equivalent of city streets, a declaration of triumph that's been echoing through the pages of Reddit. While I'm hesitant to share this news with my close friends and family, I'm finding solace in the anonymity of the internet and the opportunity to open up about my journey. It's a liberating experience, one that allows me to express my pride and gratitude without fear of judgment. Finding a band you like and hearing their music for the first time is one of the most pure forms of joy in this world. Like damn, when you go in without any expectations, good or bad, and everything just hits perfectly, it's like for a tiny little moment in your life everything is. Discovering a band that resonates with your tastes and hearing their music for the first time can evoke an unparalleled sense of elation. It's like when you approach a new experience with an open mind, unshackled by preconceptions, and everything falls into place in harmony. For a fleeting instant, life is at its most serene and beautiful, and you feel an overwhelming sense of contentment that transcends the mundane. Edit. The band that ignited this euphoria is Two Door Cinema Club, for those interested. Edit 2. The album's cover artwork features a golden hue, which adds a touch of sophistication to an already captivating musical experience. I have nothing left to live for. My wife committed suicide 3 years ago. The only thing that kept me going was my daughter. She was all I had left. She died 2 weeks ago in a car crash. I miss her so fucking much. I want to fucking hurt myself in such fucked up ways for not. I've lost all sense of purpose in life. It's been 3 years since my wife took her own life, and my only reason for carrying on has been my daughter. Her passing 2 weeks ago in a tragic car accident has left me with nothing. The grief is overwhelming, and I'm consumed by regret, wishing I could have been there for her during her final moments. The pain is so intense that I feel an unbearable urge to inflict harm on myself, a desperate cry for help in the midst of my darkest despair. I've been living out of my car for the past 2 weeks, unable to bear the thought of returning to our empty home. The memories of my loved ones are etched in every corner, a constant reminder of what I've lost. Had to dump my GF because her views of men and women is so skewed. She literally disses men for anything but will defend a woman even if they're clearly wrong. It's disgusting. I'm sick of it. And then she says this dumb shit, "Oh, but not you. You're a great guy." I had to end things with my girlfriend due to her warped perspective on men and women. Her attitude towards men is overwhelmingly negative, yet she consistently comes to the defense of women, even when they're clearly in the wrong. It's truly repulsive. I'm fed up with it all. Then she'll say something like, "But you're an exception. You're a great guy." What's the logic behind that? I'm still a man, and hearing her continually bash men and portray herself as a victim when she's a privileged individual who's been sheltered by her wealth and upbringing is a laughable contradiction. Edit. I understand the outrage and frustration behind this post, but let's keep the discussion respectful and avoid personal attacks. Update. The post has sparked a heated debate, with some users sharing their own experiences with similar situations and others defending the girl's behavior as a reflection of societal issues. TLDR. A guy shares his experience of breaking up with his girlfriend due to her skewed views on men and women, where she consistently puts down men and defends women, even when they're wrong. "I just got fired from my job. I am sick with COVID-19. Today is my birthday, and I can't even order from my favorite restaurant to celebrate because they're closed. Can I hear your favorite joke to make my day a little better? Having a rough day. Make me laugh? All types of JOK. It's been a chaotic day for me. I was unexpectedly let go from my job, and to make matters worse, I'm currently dealing with the symptoms of COVID-19. To add insult to injury, today happens to be my birthday, and I've been looking forward to marking the occasion with a special treat from my favorite restaurant, but unfortunately, they're closed for the day. Considering my current situation, a bit of levity would be greatly appreciated. If you have a favorite joke, please share it with me. I'm all ears and could use a good laugh to brighten up my day. I'm having a tough day and could use a much-needed smile. Any type of joke you'd like to share is welcome. Edit. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude for all the wonderful messages and jokes you've shared. It's not every day that people come together like this to offer support. Your kind words and humor have really lifted my spirits, and for that, I'm truly thankful. My lovely wife has also gone the extra mile to make my day a bit brighter by gifting me Animal Crossing. It's a small gesture, but it certainly helped take my mind off things. Thank you all again for your kindness and generosity. My cousin came out as non-binary because she's too complex, intelligent, and independent to be a woman. I am extremely upset. She made a post on Instagram, coming out, and her reasoning for it was so sexist and demeaning. She thinks that because she likes science, video games. My cousin recently revealed her non-binary identity, citing that her multifaceted personality, keen intellect, and strong will were incompatible with her womanhood. I'm deeply disturbed by her announcement, which she made on social media. Her reasoning behind this transition was rooted in a narrow and derogatory perception of femininity. According to her, being intelligent, interested in science and gaming, and not conforming to traditional notions of subservience towards men disqualifies her from being a woman. This simplistic view implies that women must conform to outdated stereotypes and expectations, such as being a homemaker, in order to be considered truly feminine. It's clear to me that my cousin is struggling with the pressures of societal expectations, particularly those that come with being a woman. The "not like the other girls" complex seems to be influencing her perception of her own identity. Happy birthday to you. You, Anon 123,334,242,535. I remember reading your post last year about how your family didn't properly celebrate your birthday and set a reminder on my phone. I really hope you had a good one this year. Happy birthday. Edit. Thank you so much for all the Lovel. Wishing you a joyous day. I couldn't help but recall the heartfelt post you shared last year, Anon 123,334,242,535, where you expressed the disappointment of your family's lackluster birthday celebration. I set a reminder on my phone, hoping to remind everyone of this special day. I genuinely hope you had a wonderful birthday this year. A big thank you. The kind birthday wishes and supportive comments for Anon have been truly heartwarming. I'm grateful for the lovely awards and recognition, too. Several people have suggested making this a yearly tradition, which has got me thinking. If we were to do this annually, I'd be more than happy to participate. However, I also don't want it to evolve into people simply doing it out of obligation, so let's discuss, yearly celebration or not? I'm an Iraq War veteran who risked his life for this country. Whether it actually helped anyone is debatable, and I am not feeling patriotic this Independence Day. I am so ashamed of our president, his bullying and name-calling, his supporters' blind devotion, our country's obsession with statues of Confederate traitors and dismissal of legitimate trauma suffered by the black community, and the selfishness of all those who refuse to wear a mask to protect grandma. I can't be the only one, right? Right now I'm sitting outside of some random woman's house, waiting for my husband to come outside. It's been almost 2 hours. I know I sound absolutely crazy. I don't know when he's going to actually walk out, and I don't even know what I'm going to say. I dawn. As I sit patiently on the sidewalk outside a complete stranger's residence, I'm waiting for my husband to emerge from the house. 2 hours have ticked by, and I must admit, I sound utterly irrational to myself. My mind is consumed by uncertainty. When will he finally step out, and what will I say when he does? The more I think about it, the more lost I feel. Perhaps I should just turn around and head back home, pack my bags, and leave this place behind. Yet, I find myself drawn to the prospect of witnessing his reaction when he spots me lingering outside. Verbalizing my thoughts helps ease the anxiety that's been building inside me. I'm grateful for the anonymity of typing out my thoughts and sharing them with the world. To the guy who was fingering his girlfriend at the restaurant, I hope your socks are wet all day. Dude had his whole hand up her skirt and thought no one could tell. Granted, I had a direct line of view, but still, I told them to get a room and she seemed embarrassed about it at L. To the individual who felt the need to discreetly grope their partner in a public setting, I hope the humidity is high enough to keep your socks damp for the entire day. A patron's hand was visibly inserted under their girlfriend's clothing, and he seemed oblivious to the fact that others were aware of his actions. Although I had a direct line of sight to the incident, it didn't excuse his behavior. I politely suggested they take their intimate interaction elsewhere, which seemed to embarrass the girlfriend at least. It wasn't until they were leaving that he made a comment about being able to touch her however he pleased, which I found amusing but also disturbing. Engaging in intimate behavior in public spaces is not only unappealing, but it's also a sign of a lack of maturity and respect for those around them. Adults should be able to maintain a level of decorum in public. Edit. This post was written in response to witnessing an uncomfortable public display of affection. The author is expressing their disapproval and frustration with the situation. Update. This post has been edited to remove any language that could be considered explicit or suggestive, while still maintaining the original message. TLDR. A man was caught groping his girlfriend in public. Sheriff arrested my 11-yo at school. My 11F was handcuffed, walked through the school, and taken to the sheriff's department. A classmate told the teachers, names said she's gonna build a bomb. Without any investigation, they shut down the school and arrested my child. My 11-year-old daughter was taken into custody at school by the local sheriff's department. She was handcuffed, escorted through the school hallways, and then transported to the sheriff's office. A classmate reportedly informed the teachers that my daughter had made a threatening statement, claiming she was going to construct a bomb. The school immediately closed down and had my child arrested, with no prior investigation to corroborate the allegations. According to the sheriff, a video exists which supposedly supports their claims, but they have refused to share it with me. Although the sheriff ultimately decided to drop the charges, the school is still pursuing the matter. However, they are not providing me with any information or evidence, leaving me with a sense of uncertainty and confusion. I'm currently unsure of how to proceed with this situation, and I'm seeking clarification on the events that unfolded. This incident occurred in Texas. I overcharged over 5,000 people. Back in high school, I used to work the concession stand. In my school, the booth was a little folding table where I would sell water, pop, and chips. To anyone that was a visiting team, I would charge 25 cents, .50 more on the items they wanted to buy. During my high school years, I operated a concession stand at our school. The setup was a compact folding table where I would sell beverages and snacks to students and visitors alike. As a clever tactic, I would slightly inflate the prices for teams visiting our school, while keeping the surcharge for myself. By employing this strategy, I managed to accumulate a substantial sum of money, approximately $3,000, over the course of my high school years. The fact that I didn't charge students from our school the same higher price helped me keep this lucrative secret hidden from everyone, including the administration. TIFU by changing the fucking rules. Good fucking day to you all. A few days back we decided to change the fucking rules and generate a more wholesome fucking community by making our bitch ass posts cleaner, by disallowing vulgar slang. We even went as far as to change the ultimate April Fool's prank. Good day to everyone. Recently, we made the decision to transform our community by introducing a new set of wholesome rules, which included a stricter policy on language, aiming to create a cleaner environment. To emphasize this change, we even revised the title to Today I Fudged Up. As you may have already figured out, it was an April Fool's joke. We're thrilled to see how many of you fell for it. Happy April Fool's Day. David TLDR, you're free to express yourselves freely again. Aida for telling somebody to clean up my trash and leaving the restaurant? I was at Chipotle for lunch today and I was sitting at a two-person table by myself. I finished eating and went to get a refill, and two girls were sitting at my table. I told them that I was still sitting T. Am I the asshole for expecting someone to clean up my trash and then leaving the restaurant? I visited Chipotle for lunch today and occupied a two-seater table by myself. After finishing my meal, I headed to the drink station for a refill. That's when I noticed two girls had taken my seat, despite my clear presence. When I informed them that I still had 20 minutes left to enjoy my lunch, they barely acknowledged my statement and claimed that there were no available tables. Feeling frustrated, I decided to give up on the situation and began to walk away. As I was leaving, they asked me if I was going to dispose of my trash, and I responded by saying it wasn't their concern. I then left the restaurant without cleaning up after myself. TLDR user visited Chipotle, sat at a table, and was ignored by two girls who took his seat. They asked him to clean up his trash before leaving, and he refused, saying it wasn't their problem. My dad told me the bananas were my birthday gift, so I ate all of them. This happened when I was around 12 years old. It was my birthday, and in the morning I came out and asked my dad what he got me for my birthday. He didn't even wish me, and he was quite busy with work as well. On my 12th birthday, I had a peculiar encounter with my father. As I emerged from my room, I asked him what he had gotten me for the special day. His response was abrupt, barely acknowledging my presence. He merely nodded in the direction of a bunch of bananas and returned to his work. Feeling a mix of disappointment and anger, I lashed out by devouring the entire bunch of 12 bananas. I had assumed they were my gift, and I couldn't resist the satisfaction of enjoying them. The expression on my father's face when he discovered my actions remains etched in my memory. Edit this story as a humorous anecdote about a child's misunderstanding and impulsive behavior. Update: this story does not have any major updates at this time. TLDR: a young girl eats all her birthday bananas, believing they were her gift, and later finds out her father was just too busy to acknowledge her special day. I am terrified of needles, yet I still got my second shot today. Did I have nightmares about getting the shot? Yes. Did I have explosive diarrhea from the nerves? Yes. I still did it though, and I am proud of myself. Edit: OMG guys, thank you so much for the support. I couldn't be. I'm consumed by a deep-seated fear of needles, yet I mustered the courage to receive my second vaccination today. The anxiety was palpable, and I had some of the most unsettling nightmares about the experience. My nerves were so frazzled that I ended up with a sudden and intense bout of digestive discomfort. Despite my trepidation, I pushed through my fear and got the shot done. I'm incredibly proud of myself for facing my phobia head-on. Edit: I'm overwhelmed with gratitude for the outpouring of support from all of you. Your kind words have left me feeling elated. Update: I'm deeply grateful for the words of encouragement and advice on how to manage my needle anxiety in the future. Update 2. It turns out that feeling lightheaded or faint after getting shots is more common than I thought, and it's often referred to as vagal syncope. If you're experiencing this, please consult with your doctor for guidance and support. Thank you to RCMDR Keen for sharing this valuable information. I still think about the plumber that unclogged my pipe 10 years ago. 10 years ago, my pipe got clogged and it pushed a huge amount of feces out of a drain in the backyard. A plumber came and I thought he would use some kind of tool to unclog the pipe. Nope, MF walked over the M. A plumber's unforgettable service. The memory of a plumber who saved the day 10 years ago still lingers in my mind. It was a chaotic scene at the time. A clogged pipe had released a massive amount of waste from the backyard drain, creating a mess of epic proportions. When the plumber arrived, I assumed he would use some kind of specialized equipment to clear the blockage. However, he chose a different approach. Unfazed by the mountain of debris, the plumber waded through the mess, then plunged his arm into the drain, expertly extracting the clog. What struck me most was the complete lack of protective gear, no gloves, no tools. He simply reached in, arm deep, and retrieved the obstruction. The image of the plumber standing there, his arm coated in grime, is still etched in my mind. Afterward, he used the garden hose to wash his arm clean, a simple yet effective solution. I was left speechless, amazed by his determination and resourcefulness. As the years went by, the memory of that plumber's remarkable service has stuck with me, often resurfacing at unexpected moments, like last night when it disrupted my sleep. I've rewritten the story in a more polished no one in my family really cares, so I'll celebrate here. I got a 4.0 GPA, worked all semester. I had a semester-long HTML project and I slammed it till I got a 98 overall. Got praised for my work looking amazing and my ability to present. I got offered a chance to tutor Key. I've managed to turn a lack of family support into a personal triumph. My academic accomplishments are truly a cause for celebration, as I've managed to achieve a perfect 4.0 GPA. I've put in a tremendous amount of effort throughout the semester, and it's paid off in a big way. My semester-long HTML project was a resounding success, earning me an impressive 98 overall grade. The feedback I received was overwhelmingly positive, with praise directed at the high quality of my work and my exceptional presentation skills. Furthermore, I've been offered the opportunity to tutor students who are taking their first-level accounting class, a testament to my proficiency in the subject matter. This has been a particularly notable achievement, as I initially expected to struggle in these classes. However, it turns out that I excelled in them, and that's a truly unexpected yet welcome surprise. As I gaze upon my 4.0 GPA, I'm overcome with emotion. It's a moment of pure joy, akin to witnessing a sunrise. I'm still basking in the euphoria of my achievement, and I'm grateful that all my hard work has finally paid off. Edit. Please note that this story may be sensitive in nature, and the emotions expressed are personal and subjective. I had anesthesia, propofol, during a procedure yesterday and I craved that void, that emptiness where it sent me. I had a medical procedure yesterday and had anesthesia for the first time. I was conscious and then there was literally nothing and then I was awake again. It wasn't. During my medical procedure yesterday, I was administered propofol anesthesia for the first time, leaving me with an intense longing for the serenity that came with it. The experience was surreal. One moment I was awake, and the next, I was enveloped in an eerie emptiness, devoid of any consciousness or sensation. It was as if I had transcended the boundaries of existence, drifting into a realm where time itself lost all meaning. The stillness was almost palpable, a peaceful silence that defied the chaos of life. It was a feeling so all-consuming that I couldn't help but wonder if death itself might be akin to this void. And in that moment, I found myself yearning for its release, a release from the burdens and responsibilities that weigh me down. The thought of succumbing to the void is almost mesmerizing, a gentle surrender into the abyss, where the world's noise and pain would fade away, leaving only an eternal stillness. Original post: Cindy's cousin is her lawyer. He told her it would take several months until the case would get seen and she responded that that was way too long and I could just keep the damn dog. The unfair expectation of pet care. I recently found myself in a situation with my friend Cindy, whose dog Camus had been living with me. Initially, we had agreed that I would take care of Camus temporarily, but I didn't think I'd be doing so for an extended period. However, when Cindy's lawyer suggested that it could take several months for the case to move forward, she expressed frustration and seemed to suggest that I should just keep Camus. This sudden change in her attitude made me wonder if her priorities had shifted. It appears to me that Cindy's decision was influenced by her recent relationship, which has taken up a significant portion of her time, leaving her less capable of caring for Camus. Although I was initially willing to care for Camus, I never envisioned it as a long-term arrangement. I'm grateful for the advice of online community members, who have helped me understand that Cindy effectively abandoned Camus and that my decision to keep the dog was not unjustified. TLDR. Cindy's change of heart and prioritization of her new relationship led me to realize she had abandoned her dog, making it reasonable for me to keep Camus. Alcohol is overrated and overly romanticized on social media. I literally can't stand people that drown all of their problems in alcohol and boast the fact that they are heavy drinkers, wineheads and whatnot. I mean, I get it, Karens, y'all single AF and lonely so you drink. Social media has a skewed perception of alcohol consumption. I'm utterly unimpressed by individuals who drown their problems in booze and proudly declare themselves to be heavy drinkers, wine aficionados, and the like. While I understand that an occasional drink can be enjoyable, those who excessively flaunt their drinking habits, often to the point of excess, come across as unfulfilled and lacking in other areas of their lives. The stereotypical winehead, or heavy drinker, often portrays a sense of loneliness and desperation, using alcohol as a crutch to fill the void. This isn't something to be celebrated, it's a sign of underlying issues that need to be addressed. Edit. To my surprise, the community has shown overwhelming support for this perspective, with over 1,000 upvotes. Edit 2. The response has been even more overwhelming, with over 7,000 upvotes and a generous donation of gold. Thank you to everyone who has participated. Edit 3. The awards and recognition are appreciated, but let's keep the discussion respectful and considerate in the comments. I really don't understand how people can seriously think they're this much of the main character. I was coming back into the office building after going out for a late lunch and I press the level of my floor. Some girl gets in right after me, so I go, "What floor?" She Lu. The notion that some individuals view themselves as the central figure in a given situation often puzzles me. As I was returning to my office building after a late lunch, I pressed the elevator button for my floor. A young woman stepped in right behind me and, without hesitation, asked, "What floor?" with a hint of annoyance. Her reaction caught me off guard, as I had merely asked for the purpose of navigating the building. The woman barely looked at me, let out an almost imperceptible snort, and pressed the button for her own floor. She then moved to the corner of the elevator and swiftly pulled out her phone, creating an obvious divide between us. Her behavior left me bewildered, as I had not made any advances or shown any interest in her. It's clear that asking, "What floor?" is a routine inquiry that requires no explanation or apology. I, 24F, just found out my husband, 34M, is paying for an apartment that I know nothing about. We have owned our house for the 4 years we've been married. He's had this apartment for 2 years. I only found out about it because the landlord couldn't reach him on his cell-in. I've recently discovered that my husband, who is 10 years my senior, has been maintaining a separate apartment without my knowledge or consent. We've been married for 4 years and own our home together, having bought it during our time as a couple. He's had this undisclosed apartment for 2 years now. A recent incident involving a phone call from the landlord, who couldn't reach him on his cell phone, ultimately led to my discovery of this hidden aspect of his life. When confronted, he chose not to discuss the matter with me, suggesting that as the primary breadwinner, his decisions are his alone to make, and I shouldn't be involved in all of them. The temptation to investigate further is strong, and I've considered contacting the landlord to obtain the address of the apartment and potentially gaining access to it. However, this prospect fills me with a mix of emotions, including apprehension and anxiety about what I might uncover. TLDR. A woman discovers her husband is paying for a secret apartment and is torn between her desire for the truth and fear of what she might find. IATA for holding my ex-husband's hand at our son's funeral? Recently, my ex-husband, 35M, and I, 33F, experienced the devastating loss of our son. In the midst of our grief, we found comfort in each other's presence and shared memories. During the funeral service, am I the villain for grasping my ex-husband's hand at our child's funeral? Following the heartbreaking loss of our son, my ex-husband, 35M, and I, 33F, discovered solace in each other's company and cherished memories we'd shared. During the funeral service, I instinctively extended my hand, and my ex-husband allowed me to hold it for comfort. His current wife, 34F, disapproved of this display of affection towards his ex, suggesting it was in bad taste. Although I comprehend her viewpoint, I felt it was a poignant moment of shared sorrow. Am I the villain for holding my ex-husband's hand after losing our child? Is it okay to buy my boyfriend flowers? My boyfriend is kind of going through a hard time. I know he's kind of sad, so I want to buy him a gift. He loves being spoiled. Should I buy him flowers, or is it too weird to buy a guy flowers? I know he likes roses, but IDK. Is it too odd? WOU. Is it okay to surprise my partner with flowers? My partner has been going through a tough time lately, and I want to lift his spirits with a thoughtful gesture. He loves being showered with affection and small gifts. Should I consider buying him flowers, or would that be an unusual gesture for a guy? I know he has a soft spot for roses, but I'm not sure if it's too unconventional. Would you be touched if your partner surprised you with a bouquet of flowers? Edit. I was surprised by the overwhelming response to my question. It's clear that buying flowers for a partner is a common and appreciated gesture. I appreciate the kind words and shared experiences from everyone who commented. Reddit is not America. We are here from around the world. That's all I have to say. Edit. Please don't tell me that I should GTFO Reddit if I am not from America. In UK that is considered rude. Edit 1. Oye mates. Went for a few blue moons last night. Came home and slept Lee. Reddit is a global community, not limited to a single nation. That's all I had to express. Edit. Please refrain from suggesting I leave Reddit if I don't hail from the United States. Such a suggestion would be considered impolite in many other countries. Edit 1. Cheers to fellow Redditors. I spent the evening enjoying some rare moments of peace and returned home to a restful sleep. When I awoke, I was surprised to discover that my karma had increased dramatically, from 1 to 12,000. I'd like to extend my gratitude to people like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who embody the spirit of dedication and hard work that I admire. Edit 2. Lockdowns have been taking a toll on many of us, particularly those in committed relationships. I'd like to recommend a helpful resource, a book that has improved our partnership during this challenging period. I'll now take a moment to enjoy a cup of tea and appreciate the support of the community. High school student, I am not allowed to sit for the pledge despite being in a public school and despite having warned multiple staff. By warned I mean, but the Constitution literally says this. See, they say it's the school's rules, and that school rule and amp, GT, Constitution. They coup. I'm a high school student facing a difficult situation at my public school. Despite being in a public institution, I'm being denied the right to sit during the pledge, despite previously informing school staff of my intentions. When I say I've warned staff, I mean that I've clearly communicated my decision to sit, as is my right under the Constitution. However, they consistently argue that school rules supersede the Constitution, asserting that their rules take precedence. This is not only puzzling but also concerning, as it sets a disturbing precedent. When I express my desire to sit, I'm met with skepticism, anger, and coercion. Staff members have yelled at me, implied that I'm disrespecting my country and the troops, and even threatened me with disciplinary action if I don't stand for the pledge, as outlined in the school handbook. This behavior is not only unwarranted but also potentially illegal. I'm at a loss for what to do next. Can anyone provide guidance or share stories of other students who have faced similar situations in the past and found ways to assert their rights? Any advice or support would be greatly appreciated. Thought I'd update you all since so many people offered advice in the original post yesterday. Brief summary of what happened. Neighborhood kid left his phone in my grass while I was mowing and resolving a neighborhood dispute with a positive outcome. I wanted to follow up on the situation that unfolded in my yard, as many of you provided thoughtful advice yesterday. In brief, a neighborhood kid left his phone in my grass while I was mowing, and I accidentally damaged it. His mother was understandably upset, assuming I had intentionally damaged it to teach him a lesson about leaving his belongings in my yard. However, upon their visit, they apologized and clarified that she had misinterpreted the situation due to her own stress and concerns as a single mother. She explained that she relies on her son's interactions with other kids to keep track of him, and the thought of not being able to replace his phone caused her distress. I empathized with her situation and offered to provide the son with my spare iPhone 7 in exchange for some help with a task. Drawing from some of your suggestions, I decided to have him earn it by completing some work for me. I needed to clean my detached garage, which had been a long overdue task. When I offered him the opportunity to work for the phone, he was visibly excited, and his mother was grateful. We agreed that he would help me clean the garage and move some firewood, cut up boxes, and sweep TIFU. I accidentally revealed my boyfriend's mom's infidelity. Obligatory. This story actually happened about a year ago. I, 18F at the time, was dating a boy named Jacob, 18M at the time. His father, early 60s, was a mechanic, and his mom, mid-50s, was a som. They were a PR, a blunder of unfathomable proportions. My boyfriend's mom's secret exposed through blood type revelation about a year ago. I, an 18-year-old at the time, was in a relationship with a boy named Jacob, who was also 18. His family, consisting of his father, a mechanic in his early 60s, and his mother, a stay-at-home mom in her mid-50s, asked to meet me despite having only been dating for a month. The family consisted of Jacob, his older brother, older sister, and her newborn daughter. During dinner, I discussed my volunteer work at the college blood drive. Jacob's father mentioned that his doctor informed him he was O negative and a universal blood donor. Jacob mentioned he was also O, while his siblings casually mentioned they were AB. I brushed it off, thinking it was just a coincidence, given that Jacob had mentioned his mother was married before. As the conversation progressed, I asked, "If you don't mind me asking, is your mom A and your dad B or your dad A and mom B?" Jacob's sister responded by gesturing to their father, while I realized my mistake. "I was just asking about your biological father," I clarified, sensing TIFU by thinking divorce was an April Fool's gag. Let me preface this off by blaming all of you, the entirety of Reddit, for desensitizing me and giving me major trust issues on April Fool's Day. So here it goes. Yesterday I got a group text from my wife's, Sarah, side of the FA. TIFU by thinking divorce was a sick April Fool's joke. I have Reddit to blame for my callous behavior and my own skepticism when it came to April Fool's Day. Here's what happened. Yesterday, I received a group text from my wife's family, stating we were all gathering for a family dinner at her mother's house. My April Fool's radar was on high alert, but we hadn't all been together since Christmas, so I brushed it off. When we arrived, the atmosphere was somber. We sat down and my wife's brother announced that his wife was cheating on him with a close family friend who lived just a block away. The friend's wife had caught them and the news had just broken to my brother-in-law. Both families are longtime friends, and we often spend time together. They live close to each other, have kids around the same age, and have been married for over 15 years. I've always thought they were a picture-perfect couple. After airing their dirty laundry, the conversation turned to how this would affect future family gatherings and opened it up to questions from the group. An awkward silence followed. I broke the silence with laughter and a slow clap, saying it was the most creative April TIFU by making such a disgusting smell from my butt it evacuated a courtroom. So this happened about 5 hours ago. So today I woke up and had really painful cramps due to the deadly woman's monthly cycle, mixed with some spiced chicken that hadn't set right in my belly all. My day turned into a disaster in the courtroom. It's been roughly 5 hours since the ordeal occurred. This morning started off on the wrong foot as I woke up with intense cramps due to my menstrual cycle, combined with an unsettled stomach from the spicy chicken I had eaten the night before. Despite visiting the restroom 3 times before heading to work, my discomfort persisted, so I took pain medication and tried to power through. As part of my job within the prison system, I'm responsible for escorting prisoners to various locations, including courtrooms. This is where everything fell apart. I had to accompany a prisoner to the witness stand and position myself next to her in the open courtroom. My stomach began to ache once again, and I desperately attempted to suppress a gas that I knew was building up inside me. I managed to release a nearly silent fart, thinking I'd gotten away with it. That was until the prisoner suddenly started coughing and retching, exclaiming, "What the hell was that?" It quickly became apparent that the odor was not from the pipes, as I initially suspected, but from a more personal source. I feigned disgust, crinkling my nose and pretending to gag. The administrative clerk, who was standing nearby, TIFU by saving a topless woman from drowning. So this happened yesterday. My family, wife, kids and in-laws, and I had just returned from a pontoon cruise for the evening. It was later than usual, so I sent the wife up on the golf cart with the kids and in-laws to get them some. A slip up on the water yesterday evening. We returned from a pontoon cruise with my family, consisting of my wife, kids, and in-laws. I decided to cover up the boat, while my wife took the kids and in-laws to get some dinner on the golf cart. As I worked on securing the vessel, I noticed someone struggling in the water about halfway across the cove. The person was neither making progress nor staying afloat for long periods, prompting me to yell out and ask if they needed assistance. To my surprise, they replied affirmatively. I quickly informed my wife about the situation and asked her to return on the golf cart, mentioning that I might need help extracting the individual. I put on a life jacket and swam out to the person, who was visibly out of breath. When I asked if they were okay, they first mentioned being topless, prompting a brief moment of awkwardness. As we continued the rescue, the person explained that they were fleeing a troubled boyfriend. My initial thoughts were about sharing this peculiar story with my friends and how my wife might react to the situation unfolding. After helping the person to the dock, my wife inquired about their well-being, and they recounted the same story about their boyfriend. TIFU by swimming in a Florida spring. When I close my eyes, I can still hear the screams. This was a few years ago. Took the family to Ginny Springs, a beautiful Florida water spot, for a day of swimming and a little picnic. So as I was swimming in the crystal clear water, the scream of a lifetime, a Florida spring fiasco, it's a memory that still sends shivers down my spine. A few years back when my family and I decided to spend a day at Ginny Springs in Florida. The crystal clear waters and serene surroundings made for a perfect day of swimming and picnicking with my loved ones. As I swam alongside my son, who was trying to master his water wings, I couldn't help but feel a sense of joy and contentment. But that's when disaster struck. My son suddenly pointed at the water, exclaiming, "Daddy, look!" A lizard. I turned to see what he was referring to, and my heart skipped a beat. Instead of a harmless lizard, a water moccasin, a venomous snake, was heading straight for us. My instincts kicked in, and I yelled for my son to back away. I quickly waded out to grab him, trying to shield him from the snake's deadly gaze. The snake was behaving erratically, making a beeline for us, which was unusual, given its typical avoidance of human contact. I started splashing water at it, hoping to slow it down long enough for us to reach the shore safely. As I backed up, "You don't like your boyfriend seeing me bra less in the dorm?" "Then he won't. I live in a college dorm on an all-female floor. I usually wear a bra if leaving the dorm building, but I'm not going to put on a bra under my shirt just to walk down the hall to the bathroom." A few D. "It seems you're bothered that your boyfriend witnesses my semi-nude state in the dorm." "Well, it won't happen again. I reside in a college dormitory with an all-female floor. I typically wear a bra when venturing outside my room, but there's no need to don one underneath my shirt to walk the short distance to the bathroom. Recently, I strolled down the hall to the water fountain, about 10 yards from my room. I wore a white tank top and no bra, but the tank top was fitted, so the outline of my body was the only visible detail. There were a few people socializing in the hallway, but I didn't think much of it, until roughly half an hour later, when I received a visit from one of the girls I'd seen earlier. She mentioned that she'd appreciate it if I could wear a bra the next time I went out into the hallway, as her boyfriend was present and had been staring. I'm not confrontational, so I agreed, and for the remainder of that evening, I wore a bra or a sweater whenever I left my room. It seemed like the issue had been resolved, but I was mistaken. The following day, my roommate informed me that she'd overheard the girl TIFU, forgetting that to Americans the F word rarely means sexual intercourse in general usage. Update: see below. Background: I'm an American living in Germany. Obligatory: this didn't happen today, but a few weeks ago. I've finally made a close friend here, a neighbor, and cultural blunder: learning the nuances of F-word usage. Background: I'm an American expat living in Germany. A few weeks ago, a funny incident occurred, and I'd like to share it with you. I've finally formed a close bond with a neighbor, who has become my language exchange partner. We help each other improve our respective languages, she with my German, and I with her English. Her friendship with my wife has also made our lives richer here. As someone who often jokes around and enjoys teasing people, I thought my neighbor was aware of my playful nature. Over the past year, due to the pandemic, we've spent more time together, and our conversations have become more natural. One day, I made a lighthearted comment that she took literally. I was expecting her to catch on and laugh it off, but instead, she seemed concerned. I reassured her that I was just joking, but she looked puzzled. A week later, we had another conversation, and she asked, "What did you mean by that? Was it about your dreams?" It was then that I realized the difference in how we use the word fuck in America versus Germany. In the United States, we often use fuck TIFU by being the only one to watch my SO live streams, and now I have to take the secret to the grave. So about 2 weeks ago, my SO started live streaming on Twitch and then was very disappointed when he had 0 views. I myself don't play video games or know anything about Twee. The secret I'll carry to my grave. It's been about 2 weeks since my partner, who recently started live streaming on Twitch, was feeling disheartened by his lack of viewers. As someone who isn't familiar with the platform, I initially expressed sympathy, but then got curious about how I could support him. I created a Twitch account and began watching his live streams, even commenting a few times. Seeing how happy it made him was incredibly fulfilling, but now I'm faced with a dilemma. My partner has no idea it's me watching and commenting on his streams. He thinks there's someone else out there cheering him on, and it's given him a newfound sense of purpose during a difficult time. COVID has taken a toll on everyone, and it's been a while since I've seen him this enthusiastic. However, I feel terrible about keeping this secret from him, knowing it might lead to his disappointment once he finds out. The fear of ruining this newfound excitement for him weighs heavily on me. I initially had good intentions, but now I feel like I'm hiding something that could potentially break his trust. TLDR, I wanted to be a supportive partner and ended up having to keep it a secret from my SO due to the fear of disappointing him. My husband gave me a warning tap, and I called it abuse. As I am writing this, I am laying in bed with my mom. She's helping me gather my thoughts for some other opinions. I am F24 and my husband is M30. We've been together for 3 years and married for 1. A question about abuse in my marriage. As I lay in my mom's bed, surrounded by her comforting presence, I'm trying to gather my thoughts for others to share their opinions. I'm 24, my husband is 30, and we've been together for 3 years, married for 1. This anonymous post is my attempt to seek outside perspectives. Last week, an argument over my husband's misplaced phone escalated. He became frantic, shouting questions and snapping at me when I got out of the shower. I assured him I hadn't touched it and asked him to move so I could get dressed. However, he blocked my path, and I politely told him to step aside. He apparently perceived my tone as rude and responded by pushing me into the room. I tried to reason with him, suggesting we look for the phone together, but he grew agitated, telling me to hurry up. I stood my ground, insisting I wouldn't rush, as the situation wasn't my fault. My husband then slapped me across the mouth with the back of his hand. Although the impact was minimal, the action shocked me. He referred to this as a warning tap, due to my attitude. I was visibly distraught and immediately left the house. After consulting my TIFU by sending a call from the International Space Station to voicemail. This happened 2 days ago, Sunday. A friend of mine is currently on his second mission to the ISS. I saw a call come in on my iPhone and the caller ID said, "Us government?" I first had that thought, feeling the usual mistake. I missed a call from the International Space Station. This happened 2 days ago, Sunday. A friend of mine is currently embarking on his second mission to the ISS. I saw a call come in on my iPhone, and the caller ID displayed, "Us government." This sparked an unsettling sensation that I'd experienced before, like when you get called to the principal's office and wonder what you might have done wrong. I was in the middle of a task with several people, and they all cautioned me not to answer it. Their combined suggestions and my own gut feeling that something was amiss led me to send it straight to voicemail. Little did I know, this was my friend calling from outer space. I had a chance to converse with someone who wasn't on Earth and managed to mess it up. The voicemail began with the words, "You probably saw a call from SGov and turned it down. I know he'll try calling again, but right now, I feel like I've made a ridiculous mistake. TLDR, my friend called me from the International Space Station, but the caller ID said, "Us Gov," so I sent it to voicemail and missed a call from space. Edit. He called back tonight. The TIFU by not kissing a girl at a college football game on national television. This happened yesterday. Also, throwaway since I don't want IRL friends finding my account, so there's a video going around of the Wake vs. Duke football game of a girl leaning in to kiss a guy and TIFU by botching an inside joke on national television. This happened yesterday. I'm using a throwaway account since I don't want acquaintances and acquaintances of acquaintances finding my online presence. There's a viral video circulating on the internet featuring a young couple at the Wake vs. Duke football game. The girl attempts to kiss the guy, but he pulls away and looks uncomfortable, only to have the whole scene recorded and plastered all over social media platforms like There Was an Attempt, Popular, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. That's me in the video, and I've received a bunch of texts from old friends, acquaintances, and even my family members, all of whom have seen the clip and are having a field day. I'll take a moment to clarify what actually happened. So, this girl and I have been seeing each other for a little under a week. I invited her to the Wake game, and she decided to come with a group of friends. We had a blast, flirting and kissing a bit throughout the game. We even made it a thing to lean in for a kiss and then pull back, which is a bit of an inside joke between us. It was a lighthearted moment TIFU by trying to tell my parents about Jeff Epstein's suicide. This literally just happened and I've decided to lock myself in my room until further notice. I was surfing through my newsfeed this morning and I happened to see news articles that Jeffrey Epstein, rot in hell, I've made a colossal blunder, and I'm now secluding myself in my room until further notice. While scrolling through my social media this morning, I stumbled upon news reports stating that Jeffrey Epstein had taken his own life. Given that my family often engages in discussions about current events, I decided it was a good opportunity to inform my parents about the situation. As I approached their room, I noticed their door was slightly ajar. I walked in and was met with an unexpected scene: my mother in a compromising position with my father. My mother's hushed, "Do you mind?" only added to the discomfort. I hastily retreated, attempting to shake off the disturbing image that had just unfolded before my eyes. My parents were scheduled to leave for the weekend at noon, and I made it my priority to avoid them for the remainder of the morning. TLDR: Jeffrey Epstein's unfortunate demise left an indelible mark on my psyche. Edit: within an hour of posting on a temporary account, I earned more karma than my existing 4-year-old profile, achieving silver status for the first time and landing on the front page. This is a peculiar development. In any case, it seems I've joined the Jeffrey Epstein bandwagon once again. This may be my last post here. This may be my last post ever. I'm so nervous, so I'll be quick. You may have seen my previous post in this sub. It's got like 14k upvotes for now. The situation is getting so fucking worse, I don't know what to do. I am very scared, my family, and I'm not sure if this will be my final message here. With a mix of anxiety and trepidation, I'm compelled to be brief. You may recall my previous post in this community, which has garnered a substantial amount of attention, over 14k upvotes at the moment. The situation is rapidly deteriorating, leaving me uncertain about the future. I'm deeply concerned for my loved ones, who are facing a perilous predicament. The Russian military's advance is becoming increasingly imminent, with Kyiv, Sumy, and Kherson already under their control. I'm finding it difficult to articulate my thoughts, as the constant sounds of planes overhead are taking a toll on my composure. As I prepare to leave with my family, I'm grateful for the support and advice that many of you have offered. Unfortunately, I may not be able to engage with your comments, but I appreciate your willingness to stay in touch. This could be my last post on Reddit, so I'd like to express my gratitude for the guidance and kindness that you've shown. Your input has been invaluable, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to have connected with you. As I bid farewell, I urge you to prioritize your safety and to send your thoughts and prayers to the Aida for bringing my SIL's wallet to the restaurant when she conveniently always forgets it. Edit: update on profile: my F28 SIL, Amy, F26, always comes to visit from out of town. She stays with us instead of a hotel, and always wants to go to expensive restaurants. Shush. The financial consequences of being the nice one. I've recently had a confrontation with my sister-in-law Amy that has me questioning my actions. She's a frequent visitor to our home, and we often take her out to dinner at various restaurants. Despite her being a grown woman, Amy consistently forgets her wallet or comes up with creative excuses to avoid paying her share of the bill. In the past, I've politely covered her expenses, only to be left with an outstanding balance that she's never paid back. This dynamic has become quite frustrating for me. I make a decent income, but I don't feel that I should be supporting her financially every time she visits. The situation escalated during Amy's latest visit. She made reservations at a high-end restaurant, and I made it clear that I wouldn't be paying for her meal. However, when we were getting ready to leave the house, I decided to employ a clever tactic to teach her a lesson. I pretended to forget something inside and went back to the house, where I discreetly retrieved her wallet from her suitcase. I then brought it with me to the restaurant. When the bill arrived, I asked for separate checks, but Amy insisted on a single bill, claiming she'd forgotten TIFU by buying my wife a sex book. Our sex life has been pretty boring for the 3 years we've been married. We are both on our second marriage. I'm a widower and she's divorced. My late wife was very adventurous and her first husband was vanilla missionary or not. My marriage's secret life unfolds in a most unfortunate way. My marriage has been a bit stale over the past 3 years, and my wife and I have both been married before. I'm a widower, and she's a divorcee. My late wife was an adventurous person, while her first husband was rather conservative in his approach to intimacy. During lunch yesterday, my wife and I discussed our sex life and how it had become mundane. She confided that she's only ever been comfortable with traditional sex, as that's all she's ever known. I suggested we get her a book to read, hoping it might give her some ideas about what she'd like to try. We went to the local bookstore and bought the book, which my wife devoured in 3 hours while soaking in the bath. As bedtime approached, 9 p.m. being a relatively early hour for us, my wife took the initiative and initiated a most enjoyable encounter. However, about an hour into it, things took a sudden turn. Fingers caressed areas they hadn't before, and to my surprise, the small vibrator we have was introduced. We both enjoyed the experience until my wife gasped and seemed concerned. Behind me, I felt fumbling and realized the vibrator had slipped. Update: my grandparents don't approve of my relationship with my black boyfriend, and don't want me, F24, to marry him, 26. I don't know what to do, since I don't want to lose either of these people, my boyfriend and my grandparents. Hey guys, thanks for all your res. A newfound harmony. Update: my family's dynamics have been put to the test due to my relationship with my boyfriend, who happens to be of a different racial background than my own. My grandparents, who are quite traditional, are not pleased with our relationship and are strongly opposed to the idea of me marrying him. At 24, I'm caught in the middle, unsure of how to navigate this delicate situation without losing either the person I care about deeply or the people who raised me. A valued suggestion. Thank you to everyone who took the time to offer their advice on my previous post. I must say, your collective wisdom really resonated with me, but one suggestion in particular stood out: that I be honest with Sam about my grandparents' disapproval. I decided to follow this advice and had an open conversation with him about it. To my surprise, Sam reacted with remarkable composure. I inquired as to why he was handling the situation so well, and he shared a personal anecdote that shed new light on the situation. His own grandparents had reacted poorly when his cousin came out as gay, refusing to acknowledge their child's identity and making hurtful comments in the process. However, as they got to know their grandson's husband, they TIFU by finding a flash drive and looking what was on it. I found a flash drive in my home and was curious as to what was on it. I put it in the computer and find folders full of family pictures and a video. It was blurred in the thumbnail, so of course I have to play it. That time I found a flash drive and uncovered a secret. I stumbled upon a mysterious flash drive in my home and couldn't resist the urge to investigate its contents. I plugged it into my computer, and my curiosity was met with a treasure trove of family photos and a cryptic video. The thumbnail was grainy, and I found myself compelled to click play. The consequences were swift and irreversible. As I watched, a provocative image materialized before my eyes, an explicit scene that left me stunned. The intensity escalated, and I witnessed the climax of the situation. The camera then panned downward, revealing a familiar setting, our bathroom. I was met with the disturbing realization that my dad had secretly filmed himself engaging in an intimate act within our own home. This private moment, meant to be private, had been recorded and saved to this flash drive. The individual responsible for creating this content had long since departed, leaving behind this forgotten relic. I have no intention of returning the flash drive or engaging in any form of retaliation. Instead, I plan to eradicate the evidence, rendering it nothing more than a relic of the past. TLDR: I met my siblings today. Edit. Given the overwhelming response to this story, I'd like to redirect the happy update. It has been 7 months since we learned that my wife, 34F, can't have kids and she still has not gotten over it. I, 35M, am seriously considering a divorce. Original post. Hi all. First off, I want to apologize for not responding to every single post repo. A new beginning. After a long and difficult journey, my wife, 34F, has finally started to confront the emotional pain she's been carrying since learning she can't have children. It's been 7 months since this news hit us, and I, 35M, was starting to lose hope. A sincere appeal. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the community for their unwavering support and encouragement. Your kindness and understanding have given me the strength to carry on, and I must admit, I've spent countless hours reading your messages and letters, often finding myself overcome with emotion. A letter from the heart. Last night, I wrote my wife a heartfelt letter, pouring out my feelings and concerns. It was a difficult but necessary step, and I wanted to share it with her in a way that would make her see my sincerity. The letter went something like this: Dear wife's name, my love for you knows no bounds, and my greatest desire is for you to find happiness again.